What's up, y'all? This is Ty. How you doing? I'm back. I know it's been like 3 weeks since I've been on here. I've been busy, a lot going on, but I'm here, and I want to get right to it. I ain't gonna waste your time. Let's talk about this show that I love. They're in their second season. It's a funny sitcom called The Good Place. Now, let me tell you how I started watching The Good Place. I I watch the Hollywood Reporters channel here on YouTube, and they have these roundtable discussion, these actor roundtable discussions, and those discussions are so good to me. It's so interesting, and a lot of times what I tend to do is I'll listen to it and be real goofy, or should I say manifesting. I pretend that I'm in the roundtable discussion myself with my peers because, as you know, I am an actor too. So, it makes me feel good listening and hearing my peers, I'm speaking into existence, hearing my peers discuss acting. So anyway, in this particular episode of the actors roundtable, Ted Danson was one of the actors that they were speaking to, and he mentioned his show The Good Place, and they asked him, I believe, a question about this twist, and how did he know about the twist for his character from the very beginning, and how he played it so well. And that made me say, let me check out this show, because I do like Ted Danson. And I'll be honest, I saw ads on like the buses or whatever, or billboards for this show. And I said, oh, it's just a sitcom. I didn't know what it was about. I said, oh, The Good Place. Oh, it's probably a sitcom. And Christian Bale is probably playing his daughter. I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. I didn't know the premise. Forgive me. But I checked the show out, and I can tell you I am a fan. I binge watched the show over the summer. Love this show. Love this show. So let me tell you what the premise of the show is for those of you who do not know what the premise of the show is. The show is about a deceased woman named Eleanor, played brilliantly by Christian Bell from, what was that show she was on? Veronica Mars. And she's just hilarious here. She plays a deceased woman who wakes up in the afterlife, and she's greeted by Michael, played by Ted Danson, who invented this utopia, this heaven for people to enjoy in the afterlife, to spend eternity. They all get soulmates that are based accordingly, and they get everything based accordingly to all of the great things that they did in their life. And the utopia is set up so cool and nice, and the place is just so quirky, and Michael seems so loving and goofy and just jolly, and the good place is just, it's heaven for people who died and did so well on earth. It's heaven. So it's like, wow. So Eleanor gets a soulmate. Her soulmate is Chidi, an ethics professor. There's also a woman named Tahani, who was a rich philanthropist who spent most of her life helping and the poor and the needy. And then she's married to this Buddhist who doesn't speak. It's just hilarious. And I mean, yeah, this Buddhist monk that just doesn't speak. It's just hilarious. Instantly, Eleanor doesn't like Jahani. Instantly, she's like, something is wrong here. She realizes that she does not belong here. She is not the Eleanor that did all these great things. They made a mistake. Heaven has made a mistake. So I'm sitting there watching the television. I'm like, wait a minute. Heaven, they make mistakes? The angels made a mistake? And that's what makes it more funny, because you're like, well, God don't make mistakes. So you mistakenly got into heaven. So that makes it very hilarious. The show is hilarious. She can't curse because in heaven you can't use curse words. So whenever she tries to say the F word, it comes off, what the fork? And just any little word that she says, oh, fork. And then the hijinks ensue once she realizes that she does not belong here. So she spends the season trying to make herself a good person, and she confides in Chidi and tells Chidi, listen, I don't belong here. oh, can you help me stay here? And he's all Mr. Goody Two Shoes, Mr. Ethics Professor. And he's like, no, that's not right. But she convinces him and he helps her. He's trying to teach her and help her do things to stay in the good place. Really, really funnier than how I'm explaining it. And then we later find out that the monk, he's actually a DJ named Jason Mendoza. He doesn't know how he got there. He doesn't think he belongs there either. It's just really, really funny. And so they spend most of the season trying to cover up the fact that Eleanor doesn't belong there. We even meet the real Eleanor, or should we say the other Eleanor, the Eleanor that belongs there. And it's funny, and because she's the one who actually did the good thing. She's the one who belongs in the good place. The show is quirky, it's funny, it's very original. It kind of reminds me of, remember that show on ABC? What was it called? Pushing Daisies. I used to love that show. That show was quirky and offbeat and goofy, and they canceled it. So you know what? I'm hoping that this show's ratings are good, because whenever I like these shows that are different and original and funny and quirky, they end up getting canceled. But you know what? I'm hoping that this show sticks around because it's really funny. Now let's get to and there's this other character I love, Janet, who's like this artificial intelligent, artificial being. She's like a robot. She is hilarious. She's just hilarious. Now, let's get to the twist. Now, for those of you who have not seen the show, turn this off because this may be a spoiler for you. So just turn this off. Don't watch this. Go watch the show. But for those of you who have seen it, let's talk about that twist. At the ending of season one, we find out that the good place is the bad place. Isn't that crazy? That was the twist. Michael is not this good guy. He is a demon, actually. Everyone in the good place is part of his project, his special experiment. So the good place is actually the bad place. So the good place is a form of hell. And what he was doing was experimenting and torturing these 4 people, which include Eleanor, Chidi, Tahani, and the other guy. He's torturing these people. And what happens is Eleanor finds out that, wait a minute, this is the bad place. And what happens is he has to reset them. So I thought that was clever. I've never seen a show do a twist like that in the first season. And it made me say to myself, well, what are they going to do in the second season? Because the first season spent so much time with her trying to prove that she belonged in the good place. Now the good place is the bad place. How's the show going to work in season 2? I'm like, I don't know. This ain't going to work. I was wrong again. It works brilliantly, because now in season 2, what they did is we saw in the season premiere, Michael has failed many times trying to get them to be tortured in this good place, because Eleanor keeps figuring it out. And so they show in this episode the hundreds and hundreds of times that Eleanor has figured out that they're in the bad place, and Michael snaps his finger, resets them, and tries again and again and again. So his boss comes to him and tells him, listen, this project is failing. You fail again, you're going to have hell to pay, and you're going to be in some serious trouble. So we see this season now Michael trying to keep the good place, his experiment running. Am I making sense, y'all? I'm making sense. Trying to keep his experiment running and keeping himself from getting in trouble. And we see him lie to the boss and say, oh, no, only reset it one time. This second time around, it's really working. But it's not. Turns out the woman who was playing the other Eleanor, her name is actually Vicky. She's also a demon, so to speak. And she tells Michael, you know, you've been messing up all this time. They keep finding out. Your plan failed. Your little experiment, your good place project has failed. You're messing up every time. All the actors, because the whole town is in on it, or everybody's frustrated because they're like, your torture scheme isn't working. It's not working on these humans. So Vicky tells him, listen, you either put me in charge or I'm going to tell your boss, Michael, that you are messing up. So now Michael is in between a rock and a hard place. So what does he do? He tells Eleanor and the crew, yes, you're in the bad place, I know, but help me. Let's work together. He actually calls them cockroaches and everything. The show is just crazy. But he says, let's work together so that now we can outwit Vicky. So now that's what they're doing in season 2 is we're going to see how they try to outwit Vicky, and it's kind of more like in Michael's perspective. So that's it pretty much. Hope you enjoyed this review. Hope you like the show as much as I do, those of you who watch it. And I'm hoping this show stays on for a good while. I'm really enjoying it. I love the originality and the quirkiness and the fun of it all. Check it out on NBC, The Good Place, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. on NBC, The Good Place. That's it for now. You have a blessed one. Please like, comment, subscribe, share these videos. Thank you for watching my little channel. I truly, truly appreciate it. You have a blessed one. I'm out.